Vote for me and I'll set you free.
Free is just another word for nothing left to lose. Over me.
Welcome to America Matters. Eddie, what's going on there in Reno, brother?
Well, buddy, I've got so many wonderful questions that came in all night long in the form of emails, came in the form of text and everything. I even took the time this morning to have one of our young ladies type them up for me so that I would not miss a single solitary question that was asked by our people last night when they came in. And I'm going to start with the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, better known as, is totally shut down now, which, much to the chagrin of Elizabeth Warren, the architect of the CFPB, is leading the charge against the shutdown, Leo.
Yeah, well, I could see how Pocahontas would be upset losing her for oversight or financial oversight operation, which is just god, it's terrible. But on the 10th of February, so just on Monday, the CFPB employees were instructed to stop working and stay away from the Washington D.C. headquarters, bringing the agency's operations to a complete halt. Which we like that because
Love it.
it's garbage. And Elizabeth Warren proudly calls herself the architect of the CFPB. But what did she actually create? What did Pocahontas do? Well, I'll tell you what she did. Oh yeah, look at all his channel showing all the monies. It's all
Yeah.
well, the reality is it's just an oversight committee that was created in 2010 as a direct response to the 2008 financial crisis to oversee banks and protect consumers. Sounds good, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, not the case, because here's the problem. It's too much power with too little excuse me. It's too much power with too little accountability.
Right.
The agency was basically a government watchdog with no leash, making financial decisions without proper oversight, putting crippling regulations on businesses, and so many companies, especially the smaller institutions, struggled under the CFPB's strict and most certainly over the top rules. So, with too much power and no checks and balances, it was funded directly by the Federal Reserve, so Congress had no control over its budget.
Jesus.
So, talk about unlimited money. I mean, unlimited resources. And a single director could just make sweeping financial regulations without congressional approval. So, no oversight, no checks and balances. Ooh, that's a lot. That's how you really put the hurt on a business right there, with people just dictating unfettered. That's the problem right there.
Amen, brother. And unbelievable too, because the way I understand it, Leo, and correct me if I'm wrong, but she actually had her own financial police force that answered to nobody but
Yeah,
her.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. So,
Wow.
sorry, I gotta mute my mic when I clear my throat. Um, this consumer watchdog actually did more harm than good, and you can tell this because they imposed crippling regulations that hurt small business banks and credit unions. And I like credit unions, honestly. I think credit unions are better than banks in a lot of instances. And these
Sure.
rules made it harder for everyday Americans to get loans, and that's the big issue.
Yep.
Now, and obviously this came following the 2008 financial crash, but that that was allowed because they were giving loans out prior to the CFPB, or just in general, they were just giving out loans to folks that shouldn't have been getting it. So that's what really led to that big financial crisis. So they went in the complete opposite direction, went way too hard, making it very difficult for Americans to get loans and mortgages and credit. And if people can't get those lines of credit, how are they going to be able to, grow and create a business for themselves?
Right.
So the CFPB acted like a judge, and like the judge, jury, executioner, just slamming companies with huge fines for minor infractions. And when people get hit with that kind of stuff, they're done. How can they even continue to operate a business over something so minor? So then businesses feared government retaliation, and it just killed competition and innovation. And that's what happens when you destroy small businesses. But that's what people like Pocahontas, aka Elizabeth Warren, want, and people on the left. They want to destroy people's ability to create.
Yep.
And have their own source of wealth, because if they're independent from the handout from the government, well, that makes the government have less power over them, and they don't like that. They want control. So, as the CFPB claimed it protected consumers, in reality, it just made financial services more expensive.
Amen.
So Trump and Vought shut down a weaponized, out-of-control agency that was stifling businesses and slowing down economic growth. And Trump appoints Russell Vought to a government efficiency expert to clean house. And that's exactly what we need to do right now. That's what's going on. The cleaning of the house in the government is taking place. And Russell Vought is the guy tasked with this specific role. So he's the acting director of the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And he's implemented several decisive actions aimed at significantly reducing the agency's operations. He stopped the CFPB, which is great. So he stopped the CFPB from requesting new funds, meaning it could no longer draw money from the Federal Reserve, and the agency had a $700 million reserve. That's a lot of money.
Good Lord!
But hey, just keep loading them up with unlimited cash from the Federal Reserve. That's how they're rolling, And every time they take money out of the Federal Reserve, guess what? That's debt added to us, so that's a big problem.
36 trillion. Yeah.
Yep.
Just print it. Just keep it going. That's terrible stuff.
Yep.
The investigations have been halted, and that were for the banks that they were being investigating, the credit card companies, lenders, big tech companies like Apple and Google pay for potential violations of financial laws, and so those have been put on hold and ended. So
thank God.
Yeah. So under Vought, the new rulemaking efforts were frozen, meaning no new regulations would be introduced, which is great. No new regulations. And he gave DOJ access to the CFPB data, including financial regulations, investigations, and consumer complaint records. This marked a major shift in the CFPB's authority, reshaping financial oversight toward a pro-business, efficient economy under Elon Musk's leadership. So they're doing a really good job. So
she better head back to the reservation now, Leo.
Yeah, seriously. Well, we got a little bit more to talk about this, but we do got to take our first break here on America Matters. So stay tuned. I'm Leo Zaki with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. We'll be right back.
Sliced fish sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes, the port of Stubbs Way. It'd be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is your number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to follow.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by a Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of Happy Feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Can you define the 4 different parts of Medicare? Do you have Medicare prescription drug gap coverage? At Nevada Senior Advisors, we will walk through the different parts of Medicare, including Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, Part D prescription drug plans to help you determine which option is right for you. Visit nvsenioradvisors.com, call 775-674-2223 to set up an appointment. Nevada Senior Advisors is not affiliated with or endorsed by the federal Medicare program or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.
In times of market volatility, it can be a good reminder to revisit your financial strategies to make sure they align with your goals. Call 775-674-2222 or visit nvretirementplanners.com. Advisory services are offered through Nevada Retirement Planners, an investment advisor in the state of Nevada. Any insurance products and services are offered through Nevada Senior Advisors. Nevada Retirement Planners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency. Nevada Retirement Planners does not provide legal or tax advice.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we are back with America Matters, and we've been talking about the CFPB that Elizabeth Warren put together and how it's being shut down. That's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and it is been halted right now. Operations have been halted, and we were just going through with all the details about that. But this is the brainchild of Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. And as you guys can plainly guess, well, she's pretty upset that her little baby here is being, well, stopped and done away with.
She's on the warpath, Leo.
Oh yeah. She's definitely on the warpath, that's for sure. So she rushed out to the CFPB headquarters and was giving fiery speeches and called the shutdown a catastrophe. Because unlimited dollars coming from the Federal Reserve without any oversight being stopped is really a catastrophe in the mind of a globalist stooge, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So she rallied activists claiming consumers would suffer. But let's be honest, who really suffered?
Her.
Well, she's certainly suffering because she's losing out on that, and it's just making her look like an idiot. But that's a side note. Government unions sued, saying it was unconstitutional, and Democrats called it an attack on consumers. Was it really? Or was it actually helping promote business here in America? Because I'm pretty sure that's what it was doing.
That's exactly what it is. Matter of fact, Leah, I think Warren wanted an agency she could control to push her socialist financial agenda. When it got taken away, she absolutely panicked, went on the warpath. So what does that mean for the future of America, my friend?
Well, things that we've all been craving: less bureaucracy and more freedom. Without the CFPB, businesses can operate without government micromanagement. Wow, what a concept. Small banks and lenders can once again offer loans without excessive restrictions. You're enabling the people. We're getting away from the big banks. I want a lot of little banks, because a lot of little banks are going to be private institutions that are owned by we the people and not some super megacorp conglomerate.
Right.
This is what we need. This is how we begin to break away from the Federal Reserve System, by enabling independent people to become their own banks and do their own lending without all this overreach. And it brings a balanced approach to consumer protection. Consumers will still be protected, but through fair laws and not an unchecked agency.
Yes.
So other financial regulators still exist, but now without the CFPB overreach. The shutdown of the CFPB wasn't a loss. It's a win for free markets for businesses and consumers. And Elizabeth Warren's CFPB was never helping consumers. It was about power. And that's what it's always been about. This is all they've been doing is control, power, and limiting the free market and limiting people's ability to create. This is what I've been talking about for years. We are rolling. Trump and his team are rolling this back. His move to shut it down was long overdue, and it's time we build a financial system based on freedom and not government control. We are getting there, and it's not even 1 month. I love that. It's the 12th of February, folks. He was inaugurated on the 20th of January. We are making huge strides, leaps and bounds, in uncovering all sorts of craziness. Talking about craziness. Remember what we talked about yesterday, Eddie?
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, Leo, I'm sitting there scratching my head wondering, is in some way, is Newsom a part of her tribe, or vice versa?
In one way or the other. I mean, yeah, they're both Democrat elite, globalist, socialist pushing control freaks that don't care about the people.
Amen.
So of course they're in the same camp.
Wow.
POS.
And I think the FCC will figure out POS someday.
Yeah. Well,
maybe free enterprise can step up now and get America back on track here. It's free enterprise. I mean, that's what this country's been started on.
Yeah, and that's really what it's gonna take is that. And we haven't seen anything like this since Andrew Jackson was president.
That's right.
And this is about bringing the freedom back to the people, giving people the power to create, and our wealth is going to be created by us and not lent to us by some bank that's going to just micromanage everything and limit people. And obviously, when there's no overreach, there's super overreach and no checks and balances. That's what I mean. There's no checks and balances. I mean, they can do whatever they want. So if they want somebody to have an advantage, they'll let them run free. But if they want to really stifle creation, they'll come down hard and find people into oblivion so that they can't create. And that's what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
So this is bringing it back. And hopefully this is all going to move us towards getting away from the Federal Reserve and doing away with that Rothschild-owned institution.
Right.
Well, it's more than just the Rothschilds. You have to, you've got what's it called? The Windsors own a part of it. Vanguard has a stake in it. And therefore, that BlackRock's a part of that. So all those big families, we got to get rid of them. Get away from the Federal Reserve and the privately owned central bank. That's the trick.
Yeah, I dealt with the credit union my entire life until these big banks stepped in and took it over, regulated them out of business.
Yeah.
I did. I got car loans. It was much easier dealing with these credit unions. I got a higher return on my money, all that, until big banks. I think it's probably late 90s, 2000s came in and
didn't you feel like you were dealing with human beings instead of just a big brick and mortar?
Yeah, these were local people, local tellers, local bank presidents, part of the community. They advertised, they did stuff right. They helped the community. No big banks are doing that.
No, none.
Right, you're just a number.
Yeah,
and they have their protocol, and if you don't fall within that certain spectrum, then you don't make the cut.
So it was totally all about power, right, Leo?
All of this has been about power control. That's what the Biden administration was doing. That's what Obama and his administration were doing. Consolidating power, limiting creation and freedoms of Americans. And they did it at all these levels that most Americans don't know about or understand, but they certainly feel it when they go to try and create a business for themselves. And that's the problem with overregulation. And that's another big problem that we have here in California. Too many rules. I mean, growing up, when you were a kid, like if your parents had like all these like crazy rules, you're like, oh, there's too many rules. I can't stand this. I hate this. And so you'd want to rebel against that stuff. I mean, you need to have a freedom to, to fall on your face, and make those mistakes.
Yeah, that's free enterprise again. If you're going to fail, you're going to fail. You should be allowed to fail.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah. And this coddling system, it doesn't work because it doesn't teach you to grow and look out for, don't step on that, or, how to avoid things, because having that little bit of risk in life, it gives you the ability to learn, and you become far more astute in whatever field that you're in.
I counted them up, Leo, and I've been involved in 19 businesses personally, and I can look you in the eye and tell you I learned more from the ones that failed than the ones that became very successful.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what happens. I mean, nobody wants to fail. I don't want anybody to fail at business. I mean, look, if you're a bad person, then I don't wish good things for you. But obviously, Eddie, like when you go through these struggles of losing, like you learn what got you to that point, and then you learn not to do it again. But it's
right,
kind of like it's like growing up, but you're growing up in the business world. That's just what happens, and it's okay. It's okay to fail as long as you learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
It's
I think you hit the nail on the head. Less bureaucracy and more freedom, Leo.
Yep. Well, that's what's coming forward. So they're setting the stage for folks to have the opportunity to get the money they need to create the businesses that they want. And this is going to create competition, which is going to create a whole new level of innovation and quality. That's what's coming in the pipeline. And this is the setting of the foundation for the big American revitalization and the reindustrialization of the United States. That
level up.
Exactly.
Yep.
So with that, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, we're going to continue the conversation. We got more things to talk about. I'm Leo Zaki with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, I don't know anything about jewelry at all. I don't know anything about diamonds. I need to get something for my lady.
Well, you know what, Jim? Come on in. We are your local jeweler, and we want to be your personal shopper. For 27 years, we know that we are doing business directly with the right manufacturers. We have negotiated great prices. They have the right trend, the right designs, quality, from earrings to pendants to you name it, we've got it.
That means you're going to help me from beginning to end.
My family, we've been working for this for a long time. I don't know how to change oil or anything, but I know diamonds. I know jewelry. So if you want to come in, you don't have to worry about anything. We'll find the exact gift that you're looking for that's going to make you look like $1 million, that you really took the time and effort to choose something, not just say, I'll take this. Your lady will know that you took the time and found a beautiful gift for her.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite nonprofit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Families of deceased and cremated veterans can apply to receive commemorative plaques or urns from VA if they do not want to inter their loved ones in a VA national cemetery or receive a government-furnished headstone, marker, or medallion for placement in any cemetery. Commemorative urns are used to hold the remains of a deceased cremated veteran, and commemorative plaques are designed to hang on a wall. If a family chooses a plaque or an urn, VA is prohibited by law from interring that veteran's remains in a VA national cemetery or from providing a headstone, marker, or medallion for placement in any cemetery. To be eligible, the veteran must have served in the armed forces on or after April 6, 1917, and must be eligible for a headstone or marker under 38 U.S.C. 2306D, and the veteran's remains must have been cremated with no portion of the remains interred at any location. For more information about the NCA memorial options, go to the VA website or contact David Otler, a NV Veterans Advocate with Walton's Funeral and Cremation, 775-843-1901.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we are back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zaki with Eddie Floyd and Shannon Lawson. And we were just talking about the CFPB, but we're going to switch gears and follow up on something that we were discussing yesterday. Big groundbreaking thing, learning about that awful company, Chemonics International. Eddie,
yes,
Chemonics, right? Remember hearing about that? Unbelievable. You got any updates for us about that?
We had so many texts, so many emails about it last night They actually at one point in time said, are you sure you're not making up a part of that? No, these are the actual facts that Leo was quoting about that company. Period.
Yeah. So what's happened now is that there's a lawsuit that has been coming against the Trump administration, and they say that Trump's team unlawfully tried to dismantle USAID to stop its funding. Well, uh,
Speaking
No,
of that,
about,
Leo,
talk about
speak,
unlawful.
yeah.
yes. Speaking of that, I got to tell you because it wouldn't be a show unless we mentioned Sarah.
Oh, hey, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah in Sacramento. She writes in and said, Eddie, please ask Leo, or unless you already know, did Donald Trump actually offer Pocahontas, and she spelled it a little bit off, but I still knew what she meant. Did he offer her $1 million to the charity of her choice if she would take a DNA test and verify that she was indeed an American Indian? The answer?
Yes,
Yes,
he
she
did.
did.
Well, she didn't. I don't think she took it, but
No, she didn't take the bet at all. She
no,
wouldn't
of
take
course
the
not.
DNA test.
But it
No.
somehow came out that she's 1% Indian or less.
Yeah,
So somehow
much
that
less.
came out. So she did
Yeah.
take the DNA test.
Well, it depends on the tribe too, because
Yeah.
I studied them. My dossier was on the American Indian, and like the Cherokees, for example. Okay, if you have less than 1%, you could be the chief. I mean, it depends on the Indian tribe itself, Chanimal.
Well, if you're not 50%, you're not entitled to
Yeah,
anything.
that's right.
That's right. End of
Michael,
story.
the irony, our friend.
You know what? I miss Michael. You tell him to get his butt back on the screen with us too.
Well, he's listening. I'm assuming so. He can shoot me a text if that's what he wants. We can send him a link, no problem.
Yeah, yeah. He did a
So,
great job. Every time he was on, I thought he did a absolutely wonderful job. I got great remarks from the Salem people, from the Answer people, and I also even had a good remark from Kevin Jackson.
oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, Michael will get into the California Congress.
Well, yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna
Yeah.
have him run for Congress in his district. Actually, it's a funny thing you mentioned that. He actually
Yeah, all right.
He texted me this morning, believe it or not, and well, he sent me a link to Congressman Robert Garcia, who I think is the one in his district that he would run against, and
Yeah.
he's like, I might actually be able to win against this guy. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty great. It's just that's the thing. I told him that's the thing. I tell folks all the time. Be the change you want to see. You can
Right.
do it. I believe in you. I certainly believe in Michael, no doubt about that.
Well,
Yes.
my money's on Michael.
But that's the thing. We got to fight against these people. That's
Right.
the whole thing. If you don't fight against them, you're not going to beat them. And it takes the right people to win, because look what's happened. Look at our government right now. You got Pocahontas and Chucky Schumer. You got this idiot Robert Garcia that we just mentioned. All these other wackadoodles, Maxine Waters. I mean, I know a lot of them seem to be coming from California, but they're all over the country.
Jeffries.
I wonder if there's
Yeah,
any
Jeffrey.
hair.
Yep.
I wonder if there's any actual hair underneath that animal that sits on top of Maxine Waters' head every time you see her.
That's a
speak.
wig. That's a wig with like quail nest in it.
Whatever the heck that is.
It's scary. Is
That
what it
lady,
is.
but here's the thing: all these people are so out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I loved what Kennedy said, and I'm talking about Senator Kennedy. He said that he wants to see more young people get involved and get rid of some of the blue hairs. Blue hairs.
Yeah.
The blue hairs.
See ya.
Yeah.
Boomers gone.
Get them going. But that's the thing. We can do this. We have the power. It's just about getting involved and being the change that you want to see. That's that
Right.
simple. So I did send him the link, but I wanted to continue talking about Chemonics International.
Please go
So
ahead.
so the like I said, there's a lawsuit. Obviously, they love lawfare, right? Because it's more money laundering, believe it or not. Because you have all these lawyers that are charging an arm and a leg to go and fight a losing fight that they know they're going to lose because they know they're in the wrong. But it doesn't matter. They'll charge all the money they want because it's being charged. It's being billed to the U.S. government, which means it's being billed to we the people. So internal lawfare. What a great concept, right? So the lawsuit is arguing that that the restructuring is unlawful and that it undermines the agency's legal framework and disrupts vital global projects to support development, health, and humanitarian aid. Just like showing up, having your deliveries get there, 7% of the time, if that. So that's really disrupting the deliveries that are taking place. So the question is USAID effectively managing these programs as it should? Well, clearly it's not, because you're seeing photos and videos of terrorists, posing in front of USAID branded tents and stuff like that. So clearly,
I want a refund. I want all my money back.
Michael is on with us, Leo, and he said he wants his money back.
I feel you, brother. We all want our money back, but that's why Trump's doing the shutdown of all this stuff, and of course, the left is writhing and like, we want our money drained back.
Yeah, it goes to show, where their priorities are. They're more upset about, the new low IQ soundbite they have. It used to be, it was all these isms like racism, sexism, like all this stuff. Now their new low IQ soundbite for their, sheep following to gobble up and spit out everywhere is President Elon Musk, Elon Musk. I'm not, I like Elon, I'm skeptical about him for, some very obvious reasons. We don't the whole H-1B thing that happened, but I like what he's doing with, the DOGE. It's, it's exposing a lot of, waste and fraud and just money that we already kind of knew in the back of our heads, like, this money that we, pay every year before April 15th, it goes to crap. And now we're seeing what the crap is. And I'm the amount of outrage, it's garnered more towards the unelected richest man in the world is in the White House instead of what your money's going to. And it's unreal. I can't believe it.
That's the whole big distraction. They're always going to try and find a way to keep you not focused on the real meat and potatoes, because it's right there. It's plain to see that. 7% of this one company that's received over 17 billion of our dollars. Okay, and just so you know, 17 billion's worth more than Donald Trump's net worth, believe it or not, has gone to this company that's just not delivering its promises on time, overpaying for crap. And this agency as a whole has been just siphoning hundreds of billions of dollars, if not in the trillions, out of our coffers and into all the wrong hands. It's gone to terrorists. Like, they were literally paying off terrorists not to attack their, whatever stuff that they were bringing into other countries. So, like,
Taliban.
It literally, we're giving money to the Taliban. So here's the way you boil it down. The U.S. government was giving money to the Taliban while we were fighting them.
40 million a week.
40. That's 40 million a week.
I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Is that right?
Picture. It's a picture of those two rockets going off, and it's like, our money, also our money.
Yes, I've seen that one.
Yeah. That's essentially what's happening.
It's all, so it's just crazy. So through this whole process now, because Chemonics has had its own issues with fraud and inefficiency managing taxpayer dollars, like we've been talking about, they agreed to pay $3.1 million to resolve allegations of fraudulent billing. Fraudulent billing. You know what that means?
Yep.
Money laundering.
Yep. That's a federal offense.
But think about it, $3.1 million. It's a lot of money to a lot of people, but to what they've been doing, drop in the bucket.
It's a nickel. Yeah, it's a nickel.
Yeah.
So
Sam Bankman-Fried nickel.
Yeah. And of course, people like him let loose. And And the fraudulent scheme that Chemonix International is a major U.S. contractor being involved in a significant fraud case with its subcontractor, Zenith Carix. See, I mean, these names, these are all CIA fronts, folks. Let's be honest. These are CIA fronts. They inflated invoices for healthcare and delivery services in Nigeria, leading to overcharges of millions of dollars. Wow. So they're being fined $3.1 million because they were knowingly paying into fraudulent overcharges with another company. So it's just this is how they do it. They just stack one company after the next, some crazy name, Chemonix, Zenith Carix, whatever the hell name they want to come up with. And then that's how they wash the money. This is how and then because it's a woozy, it's wazy. Oh, where'd it go? Well, we had to use the money to pay for this company. Well, what do they do? Well, they provide these services, and that's just what they do. Don't ask questions, shut up. And then the money's gone.
Yep. And no one knows where it went, but we know where it went.
Yeah.
Well, we're certainly finding out.
Finding out where it went. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's a paper trail. So the USAID's dependence on private contractors like Chemonix has resulted in billions of dollars being funneled into domestic consulting and accounting firms, often without sufficient oversight. This over-reliance has created opportunities for fraud and embezzlement, undermining the effectiveness of U.S. foreign aid. And that's why we just throw billions and billions of dollars out into the wind and nothing happens. Nothing happens. So the Chemonix Zenith Carix case highlights the vulnerabilities in large-scale international aid operations. It underscores the imperative for rigorous monitoring and ensuring that resources are utilized effectively and ethically. The Trump administration's focus on accountability is necessary as a response to such systemic issues. That is what we voted for because we knew there was fraud. This foreign aid, this is why I have been very outspoken against foreign aid. I know, Michael, you have as well, because we know that there's all this fraud. I mean, think about all the money that's been going to Ukraine. They don't. Yeah. Even Zelensky said that he doesn't even see half of it.
Well, look, I was going to say this too. I mean, we have all this fraud being exposed, and like I said earlier, like we've already known in like the back of our heads, like our tax dollars are not being used for what everyone says. Like everyone says, this is the price you pay for a civilized society, blah blah blah, that bull crap. Well, we know it's not true now. We know it's not true. So my question is, yeah, I'm glad I know about this, but this doesn't really mean anything until we get some criminal prosecutions.
Thank you.
And I'm resignate. Like one example I can think of, the other day, it was alerted that FEMA sent almost $60 million to this luxury hotel in New York City.
Yes.
To house illegal immigrants. And it was today reported that the Trump administration got that money back. Like, that's great. I'm happy with that. But I want these FEMA officials, I don't want them just fired. I don't want them to I don't want an apology. No, I want Van Bondi to subpoena. I want them to be criminally prosecuted and put in jail and make an example out of them. This is not enough.
Absolutely.
No, that's what's going to happen. Finding out what I already know is not enough. Like, I want these people put in prison.
Yep. That's exactly right.
To put some context behind it, these criminal illegal aliens were getting $60 million to live in a luxury hotel. North Carolinians were given $700 as a loan while their house was underwater. If that doesn't enrage you, nothing will. Yeah. Nothing will.
Well, and that $60 million, it was a regular payoff. It's been going on for years.
Yep.
Yeah, this was just 1 week. I mean, who knows what the last 4 years they've been getting? I mean, and you have not just North Carolina. We're talking Hawaii. What happened in Hawaii? The wildfires here in California. I mean, the American people have been paying this tax money to go to all this crap, and they've just been told to piss off. Here's a loan, pay it back, and how are there not riots in the streets over this? I saw the city of Philadelphia going down over a stupid football game, but you won't riot in the streets over your fellow Americans being given $700, and yet your tax money is going to these illegal aliens to be housed in a luxury hotel. You should be ashamed of yourself. George Washington's rolling in his grave.
Yep, that's exactly right. I'll tell you how. Because we gotta watch the World Series, Mike. Hey, Super Bowl's on, Mike.
No, we talked about that. The ultimate distraction. It's people are happy with the circuses and bread, and nothing else matters.
Bread and circuses, baby. Yep. That's what the American people live on.
Yeah, but aside from all that, I would say it's been a while since we talked. Trump's been president now for almost 3 weeks. I'm pretty pleased for the most part. He's done a great job. He's definitely better than his first term so far. There's a couple of things I
Things
like.
I'm not too fond about, like the
Yeah.
AI injections and
Yeah.
$500 billion going to that. All of a sudden, Larry Ellison's showing up and speaking, and Sam Altman.
These tech bros not to be trusted.
For sure.
These aren't people you want close in your circle. They've been vocally against Trump for a majority of their, his time in politics the last 9-10 years. And the only reason they're getting so close with them now is because, it benefits them. They're opportunists. They're doing it for their benefit. They're not, Mark Zuckerberg, he's not suddenly for free speech. I guarantee you that in the next 4 years, if we get another, Democrat, pro-censorship, administration, he'll ramp up the censorship right back. He's doing what's best for him.
100%.
Yeah.
He's trying to keep his butt out of jail.
Exactly. So I don't trust these people. I never did, and I never will. They're only there for themselves, like Sam Altman and Larry Ellison. I saw that when he said the AI and the mRNA vaccines, I was like, yeah, no, bye, get out of here. No.
Yeah, we'll have a cure for cancer for you, tailored to you in 48 hours.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and then they'll have your genome. Do you remember watching the James Bond movie where they were basically making designer diseases that were killing people?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they can do. That's what happens when you start getting people's specific DNAs and stuff like that. They can then custom tailor a disease or a virus or something or an agent that will kill you specifically. You could unleash it onto a crowd of people and it'll only kill the one person that they designed it to target.
That's right.
That's what they did with COVID.
Right. But that's how it's supposed to work in theory, right? But then everybody's exposed to it, right? And then the body's fighting it and whatnot. And if it's a virus, it can mutate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
it's funny.
This is getting dangerous.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned COVID, Shanimal, because the new press secretary confirmed that it was a lab leak.
Yeah.
After 4 years of people being deplatformed and silenced, this begs my question again. So what now? Okay, so is there going to be criminal prosecution, trials, fines, prison time,
executions, public executions?
Like, I mean,
yeah. Well, it worked in Italy,
and COVID took out the old people and the fat people.
Yeah. Well,
it took out
America? Get them off the books, right? Get them off the books.
It got people into depression. It made people alcoholics. It made people use drugs, and people committed suicide. We're not even talking about the lasting effects on children from getting ripped out of schools and putting on Zoom call. Like this had lasting, and it's still. I mean, the reason we're experiencing economic turmoil right now is because of our reaction to COVID. The amount of money that Donald Trump and Joe Biden spent in the last 4 years. So, there needs to be criminal prosecution for this. I mean, this was a lab leak, and it wasn't just like a mistake. Like, it affected the entire world.
Yeah, but it was intentional. That's
exactly. It wasn't a mistake.
Yeah. This was done on purpose. This was by design. This was encouraged.
And then, that's probably why Fauci got a blanket pardon from Biden right before he left office.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Putin asked for his extradition.
All right. Awesome.
I'd love to see him get extradited to Russia and see what actual justice looks like. Because Putin's not going to play around.
Yeah.
They created the word gulag.
You don't want to. You don't play around. I really, really hope that something like that happens. I think that would be. I heard something like that. That Fauci's extradition to Russia would be part of peace negotiations in Ukraine.
Oh, that'd be great.
How about that?
Yeah.
That would be a big win.
Don't we have a deadline this coming Saturday at noon with Hamas? In other words, all the prisoners have to be released by noon on Saturday, Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, that was, and Trump said if they're not released by then, all hell's going to break loose, apparently. Those are his words, so.
Well, him and Jared Kushner are licking their chops at making a new.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I'm not. That is not America first. He's gonna, if that's what his plan is, he's gonna deport more Palestinians than he is illegal aliens here.
Where the hell are they gonna go?
To neighboring Arab nations, and probably some here. Here, which
And
isn't what I voted for. I voted for mass deportations, and that's another thing I wanted to. I'm really not pleased with the numbers that we're seeing. I know that they're limited to funding and they're focusing on public safety threats first, but they got to pick those up, because at the rate we're going, he's not even gonna do like a 10% of what Biden's let in 4 years.
Right.
Yep.
I think it'll start to increase. I mean, they're just getting. Remember, there's a lot of organizational stuff that they have to root out too, to make sure this is a streamlined effort, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then you have those FBI informants that are tipping off, these. Media, like LA Times, they got that report that they were going to do it in Chicago, and then the trend out that gang in Colorado, they tipped off that. Yeah. Okay, and then another back to it. Okay, I know Tom Homan has said it. Where's the criminal prosecution of these FBI agents that are going rogue? And this is ridiculous.
Well, wasn't it Chucky Schumer was bringing something forward that was like to protect whistleblowers or some crap like that?
Yeah,
these aren't whistleblowers or traitors.
Yeah, no,
you're not exposing. You're putting not only Americans at risk, you're putting ICE officers at risk, because you are, these criminal cartels are getting information that they're coming to like arrest them and deport them. Okay, so don't you think they might, load up with guns and just like kill all these officers as they show up? Don't you?
Yeah, you're putting American lives at risk.
Yeah, exactly. And it's ridiculous. And I want criminal prosecutions. Firing these guys, not enough. Taking their pension, not enough. They need to be put behind bars and made an example of.
That's the thing. But that's something we've been talking about for years on this show, is that there is a lack of consequences.
Right.
You need to have, that's why a lot of places have laws, with serious consequences attached to them. The whole point is that the serious consequence is in place for whatever law is to be violated as a deterrent for folks to not go and commit those crimes. So when somebody does commit that crime and then you don't enforce the consequence that's tied to it, all it does is it shows everybody that you can essentially get away with this. That's why, things like the death penalty are so important, because if you don't have the death penalty and use the death penalty, then people are just going to say, well, I'm not going to be executed because of this behavior. And then the way that the prison system here is in California, they're letting folks out earlier and earlier all the time. And then they change the definition of what a violent crime is. And then folks get released on those standards, even though they might have committed a violent crime. Like the biggest one for me that really is like infuriating is that they changed drugging somebody and then raping them from a violent offense. So if you rape somebody and they're not drugged and they're conscious, that's a violent offense. But if you drug them and they're unconscious and you rape them, that's not violent.
Good
and
Lord.
So therefore, they're releasing those people, which to me, I mean, they're both really awful. But the drugging one, that sounds worse, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It is worse.
That's not a violent offense, according to Gavin Newsom here in California. And so they released all those monsters back into the wild. That's the kind of crap that we're dealing with in California. But that's what I mean. The consequences have to stand. If you kill somebody and you're found guilty and there's overwhelming evidence that proves it and you're sentenced to death, you shouldn't sit on death row for life. You should be executed. Because if you're not, then all it shows is you'll just get, a great, and don't forget, death row inmates it's the most expensive place to house an inmate. Most expensive. So they get this far more luxury prison sentence. And I'm not saying prison's a wonderful place to go, but for comparatively speaking to the rest of people in like regular gen pop or like just in a county jail, it's pretty lush considering. Yep. And it's a lot of money.
It creates copycat criminals too, Leo.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of sick people in this world. And there's a lot of people that are being overly medicated, and because all the pill pushers in the pharmaceutical industry, brought to you by Pfizer everywhere you go.
Pfizer, it was the Pfizer Taylor Swift Bowl.
Yeah, speaking of, I got some breaking news I kind of want to share with you guys. This is from the New York Post. Cincinnati Children's Hospital has denied Vice President J.D. Vance's 12-year-old relative a heart transplant because she is not vaccinated against COVID-19.
Oh, good
Are
God.
you kidding me?
That's from the New York Post.
Oh my God, he's got a 12-year-old little like niece or cousin.
It says relative. It's not specific on what, but anyway, yeah, the vice, yeah. I mean, even if she wasn't the VP's, niece or
Doesn't
whatever,
matter,
what,
it's a
a
12-year-old.
12-year-old's being denied a heart transplant
12-year-old
because she
girl.
doesn't have COVID. If anything, her heart's probably stronger.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Oh my God.
Send her overseas. They can do that operation overseas.
No. This has hit the paper. Somebody's gonna pick up on this, and somebody's gonna make sure that she gets that heart.
Good.
That's freaking disgusting. We're still having this.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't take the jab. You can't get organ transplant. Are we still having this conversation? Oh my God.
I can't believe it.
Disgusting. That's so disgusting. Which hospital?
It is the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I'm not sure which one.
Well, they just
there's probably a bunch in Cincinnati, but
guess what? They're losing millions of dollars in donors. I can guarantee you that.
Let me see if I can find an article on this.
That's all right. We're out of time here on the first hour. Mike, you gonna stay with us for the second?
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right.
Atta babe.
I'll send you the
Perfect.
link, Leo. You send it to Mike.
You better believe it. All right, folks. Well, look, we're out of time on the first hour, but the good news is it's Wednesday. We got a second hour for you coming up. Stay tuned. Get involved, just like Mike has. You can too.